Oh, hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are going to be back looking at another UFC Fight Night. This time, we're going to be looking at UFC Fight Night Vegas 81. Because, we can't go a card without being at the Apex. What, is this the third Apex card in a row, I believe? I'm sorry. I have something controversial to say before getting into this week's episode. Get rid of the freaking Apex. I'm done with it. Only have it for Contender Series. Have it for Contender Series, Road to UFC, or even freaking Power Slap. Can we retire having fight nights at the Apex? You can go to so many different towns for this. There's so many cities that would welcome the UFC with open arms, as so many cities they have not been to. Like, per example, I will not say it, but my city, the UFC have not been to in a while. Years. It's been many years. And I don't think they're going to be coming back. But regardless, we're going to be looking at this week's fight night. And this is also a little bit of a filler fight night. You can tell they're really stacking up for the end of the year, because this is... much like I said with last week, there's some low-key fights on it. It's really good if you're a die-hard fight fan, but for most casuals and most people who just watch here and there, it's not a lot going for it. But the main event makes more sense than last week's, though. And last week's kind of good old 30 seconds Dawson busting all our parlays. But regardless, we're going to look at Sodiq Yusuff versus Edson Barboza for UFC Fight Night Vegas 81. So, starting out the card, Ashley Yoder versus Emily Ducote. Ducote? I suck really bad with their names, I'm not gonna lie. But also, this fight is kind of a sucky fight. We have someone going 8-8. She's a perfect 50-50. She has a 50 chance of winning, 50 chance of losing. Versus Emily Ducote, who's 12-8. Not doing much better. I don't like this fight for either. I just really have to pick Ducote just because she's the lesser of two trash cans, to be perfectly honest with you. They're striking, not that good. I think Ducote's got some good volume, as you can see, but no. Striking defense is absolutely abysmal. I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. Neither really goes for takedowns, to be honest with you. Yoder, she's got 1.2, but she doesn't complete them. I can tell you right now. Does she complete those takedowns? Nah. They mainly end up into standing up clinch wars. This is very low bottom women's MMA, and Ducote is a minus 340 favorite. Screw that. Screw those odds. I'm not putting money on that. I advise you to not put money on this. Get out of here. Don't. Ugh. Chris Gutierrez versus, oh my god, I literally pronounced his name. I was literally practicing pronouncing his name before this video. Artinagelli. I don't know. Alton. I'm calling him Alton. I like this fight. I think this should be a very fun fight, but why in God's name? The odds aren't there, but Chris Gutierrez opened up as a massive underdog, a plus 200 underdog. Why? I'll be honest with you. So this is a short notice replacement for Alton. It was initially Montel Jackson last week, but Chris Gutierrez was the underdog against Montel Jackson last week. I favored Chris Gutierrez. I thought he had a chance of winning. I actually thought he was going to be my dog of the night, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, Chris Gutierrez against Alton, he's my lock of the night. He is a clean and solid kickboxer, very skilled, very durable as well, too. I don't know why people are sleeping on him so much. He's got really good accuracy, really good defense. Alton has some pretty solid power, and he's a pretty durable guy as well, too. That's why I can guarantee you that this fight is going to be a long one. Definitely hit the over. Odds aren't out yet for that, but the over is going to be your best friend for this. Let me see if I can even pull up the odds in general. because I think it's swelled up now. It makes more sense. Chris Gutierrez is... He's now a minus 274 favorite. My God. Okay, I don't even know if I want to bet him anymore. But definitely Chris Gutierrez by decision is something very likely in this fight. I think he has the tools to make this a very sort of technical kickboxing match where he's going to piece him apart over the course of 15 minutes. I think Alta's going to be too tough to go down. I think Alta has a chance of maybe clipping Chris here and there, but I don't think he'll be able to finish him. And I think Chris is going to pretty much put on a good beating for him. He actually is my lock of the night. I think Chris Gutierrez is my lock of the night. His knockout over Frankie Edgar, as brutal as that was, showed me that this guy's got talent. Yes, I know everyone was knocking out Frankie Edgar, but he did it spectacularly. I think he did better than Corey Sandhagen, to be honest with you. But yep, give me Chris Gutierrez by decision for this fight. All right, next fight is going to be Irina Aliseva versus Melissa Dixon. This matchup is one of the matchups of all time, in my opinion. But yes, we're going to have the UFC debutante, Melissa Dixon. She is 5-0, coming into UFC against Irina Aliseva, coming off a horrible weight miss against Stephanie Egger, where she missed weight by 5 pounds. I'm not a huge fan of Aliseva, and Stephanie Egger is not the greatest, but the fact that she took her out when Stephanie Egger is not horrible, she's good. She took her out in round 1 with that knee bar submission. And Melissa Dixon, she's gone up against garbage competition. Absolute trash on the regional scene. I'm not hyped for Melissa Dixon at all. I think her 5-0 record is sus. Irina Aliseva at least has one solid win. So give me Aliseva. I think she's very likely for submission. But if not submission, and no offense, but most women's MMA fights go the distance. So I could absolutely see a decision or a submission. I definitely like the double chance for it, but I think Irina Aliseva is definitely going to be the winner in this fight. The odds are plus 130 for Aliseva. Surprise, she's the underdog. I think people are not looking at the people. People are not looking into who Melissa Dixon is beaten. So give me Irina Aliseva by submission or decision. Terrence McKinney. They can't expand on this because this is a short notice fight. I don't remember. I think it was Chris Duncan he was supposed to fight, but whatever the case is, Brendan Mariotte is going to be making his UFC debut against Terrence McKinney. It's Terrence McKinney. We already know. Under 1.5, under 2.5. Definitely if you can find the under 1.5. We know his game. We know how he works. Terrence McKinney either takes the opponent out in under a round and a half, or he gets finished on a round and a half. The issue with that is everyone knows that, so everyone's going to hammer that home. I don't even need to tell you. The odds are going to be minus 400 for that. Don't even need to tell you. Do we even have the early odds for Terrence McKinney? We do not. But whatever the case is, he's going to be a massive favorite. I think it's safe probably to do Terrence McKinney under 1.5 or Terrence McKinney finish only. Just know now you're getting no money, no value, no nothing on Terrence McKinney. Brendan Mariotte is a super short notice. I can't explain anything on, but Terrence McKinney I can. He is a finisher. He will go for strikes. He has an underrated submission game. I could see him getting a submission. I actually had him favoring to submit Chris Duncan. I think he'll probably submit Brendan Mariotte or knock him out. Whichever the way is. Terrence McKinney, he's a finisher. Or he gets finished. Torina Lisboa versus Daria Zelianakova. I believe this is a short notice replacement as well. I don't like this fight either way, to be honest with you. Not a huge fan of either fighters. Not a lot of read on them. I'm not going to be giving my prediction on this as hard like you should take. From very little I've seen of the two of them, Torina Lisboa, I think, has the overall better skill set when it comes to MMA. That's just it. I'm just going to go with Lisboa. That's it. She beat Jessica Rose Clark last fight. Yep. Why is this fight a thing? Why are we doing this? Darren Elkins, retire! I actually think he can win this fight, but retire! Jesus Christ, man. Fight doesn't go the distance. That's it. That's all you need to know. Darren Darren the Damage Elkins cannot be finished, but oh my god, he will not know his children's names at the age of 50. He won't make it to 60. This man has the damage tattooed on his chest because he takes so much damage. Wild winging hooks, goes to the ground, doesn't even give a crap about clinching for like safety, but he will clinch and he'll still find a way to get hit in it. TJ Brown is also a very explosive fighter. He's got pretty solid power overall. I definitely see TJ Brown winning this fight. But either way, someone's going out. Darren Elkins is going to catch TJ Brown, who keeps his chin up a little bit, gets a little reckless, and he can get caught. Or Darren Elkins just takes too much damage and he somehow gets finished. But it's hard to finish Elkins. It's hard. He's been finished before. But, dude, he needs to stop. He needs to stop. I just don't know. Jonathan Pierce can take him out. Cub Swanson. Man, he got finished by a late Cub Swanson. But Nate the Train couldn't take him out. Ryan Hall couldn't take him out. Alexander Volkanovski couldn't take him out. Yeah, that's a fight that happened at one point. When was that? When did that fight happen? That was before Michael Johnson, right? It was after Michael Johnson fight back in 2018. Yeah, I'm not gonna pick either guy. Just pick fight doesn't go distance. Main card time. It's time for the main card. It's time for some good fights. This main card, pretty much every fight other than no, there's two stinkers. But this is a good fight. This is a good card, and this is probably the best fight in the card, to be honest with you, which is Christian Rodriguez versus Cameron Saaiman. Cameron Saaiman is very hot in UFC on a 5-fight win streak in the UFC. No, he's coming off only 5-fight finish streak, if I remember correctly. Forgive me, I need to pull this up. I should have came prepared. He is on a 5. Nope, never mind. I don't know where I'm getting number 5. He's on a 4-fight win streak in UFC. Forgive me, including a Contender Series. I like Cameron Saaiman. I think he's very dangerous. He has really good finishing ability too. He's got plenty of finishes, usually by knockout. Knockout's going to be his finish of choice. He has 1 submission in his career. Christian Rodriguez is pretty solid. Really good boxing. He only has 1 loss, and that was to a Jonathan Pierce Elpa weight class, I believe, as well too. And he didn't get finished. Other than that, he's got good submissions. He's got good boxing. He's a very solid fighter overall. He is going to be the favorite in this fight. Only a minor favorite. I thought he was going to be a little bit higher, but I'm actually going for Cameron Saaiman. I like Saimon's game better overall. Christian Rodriguez, he doesn't seem like a hardcore finisher, which I feel Cameron Saaiman is more so going to go for the finish, and I think that's going to lead him to get the W more. I definitely think Rodriguez is probably the better grappler overall, surprisingly enough. But I think Cameron Saaiman actually has more power. That's a little bit against the grain compared to what everyone else is thinking about this fight. But I definitely think Saaiman can beat him. I don't think either guy's going to get a finish, but if I had to pick one, I think Saaiman would probably be more of a finisher than Christian Rodriguez. Christian Rodriguez is coming off that big win over Raul Rosas Jr., which is a massive upset. I was there for that live. I'd like to mention I went to the weigh-ins, and Christian Rodriguez, I gave up on him at the weigh-ins. At the weigh-ins, I said, nope, not winning. Initially going into that, I was kind of like leaning a little bit towards him against Rosas Jr. Saw the weigh-ins, he looked awful. He looked like he didn't want to be there. The same with the walkout. Then he came out there and he managed to hand Rosas Jr. his first loss. Very impressive. But a lot of that was also from Rosas Jr. I think he kind of got a little bit wild under the big lights. I'm not going to lie. He really tried for that submission, blew out his arm. So, whatever the case is, give me Cameron Saaiman. Give me him by decision, but the over is probably your best option. But again, juice the ball hell probably. Edgar Chairez is going to be rematching against Daniel da Silva Lacerda. We saw this fight last time. We saw it. It was a no contest, but you know what was going to happen if Keith Peterson, I believe, didn't call the fight. He called the fight probably 3 seconds too soon. Because what was going to happen? Edgar Chairez was going to submit him. Guess what I picked the first fight? Edgar Chires to win. Guess what I'm going to pick this fight? Edgar Chires. Because Edgar Chires basically won the first fight. Simple as that. He got robbed out of a victory because the ref stopped it too soon. Lacerda was going out. Simple as that. So what's going to happen this time? I think Chires is probably going to knock him out this time. I think Lacerda, because he went into that fight a little bit more cautious, not as reckless as he normally did, because he knew he couldn't lose 4 in a row. Or guess what? You didn't lose. You got a no contest. Yeah, give me Chires to win by knockout. Also, by the way, it's catch weight. I don't care. Another short notice fight, which is not letting me select it, but it's going to be a better fight than it was prior. Before, it's going to be Michel Pereira up against Marc-Andre Barriou, but now it's going to be Andre Petroski. That changes things. That changes things. Short notice, which isn't probably the best for Petroski. But he's a better grappler in all aspects than Michel Pereira. And Michel Pereira has never fought a grappler, I don't believe. Let's look at it. Has Michel Pereira even... Oh, God. Has Michel Pereira even fought a grappler? That's one of the worst / funniest fights of all time. DQ. Tristan Connolly, which he lost. Give me Andre Petroski by decision. I think decision. Over 2.5. Again, so many overs. That's so bad. There's so many overs on this card. But over is probably your best option. But I don't think Michel Pereira is going to get him out. I think I'm going to go with the dog. Both these guys historically are not. These guys historically go a distance. Something is telling me Pereira KO by flying knee. But my brain is telling me Petroski by submission. And there's better money there. Petroski decision. Jonathan Martinez versus Adrian Yanez. Adrian Yanez, another fight I had the pleasure of seeing live. I bet money on him. He got knocked out front run by Rob Font. I was shocked. I really did think Rob Font, after the damage he took against Chito Vera, was going to be able to do what he did against Yanez. It wasn't like Yanez got overzealous. It was like he got reckless, right? Like that. He just got beaten by the superior fighter. Rob Font was just a better fighter at night. Better combinations, much more power too. Rob Font is not a guy who's knocking people out round 1 anymore. But he took out Adrian Yanez. John Martinez is a dog, to be honest with you. He's got some really solid striking. Managed to take out Dagestanis, no problem. Well, not taking them out, but go distance with them, which is a feat alone. And go distance and win. I still just think Adrian Yanez has the dog in him, though. I think he has more of a dog in him, and I think this is going to be a dog fight. I think it's going to be a good scrap. Much like all of Adrian Yanez's fight, his boxing is so crisp. I love his boxing. It's just so effective. He slips punches. He is so fast. 6.75 landed per minute. John Martinez, his last loss, was it not to Kelly? David Grant. All right, it's David Grant. I'm going to... Well, one of his last losses. It's not his last loss. But I'm going to be going with Adrian Yanez. I think Adrian Yanez, but I don't think it's going to be a knockout. I think it's going to be a slobber knocker. I think you're going to get 3 rounds of war. Again, another over. Another over. My God, I can't stop picking the overs. This scares me. But yep, I'm going to be going with Adrian Yanez. Jennifer Maia versus Viviana Araujo. I don't like this fight. Why is it the co-main event? I don't like this fight at all. I'm not high on either of these fighters. Both are coming off... No, Maia's coming off a 2-fight win streak. Araujo is on a 2-fight losing streak. Araujo has a... I don't know, man. She's got a win over Andrea Lee and Roxanne Modafferi. She's lost to Grasso, Hebas, and Chuka Hagen. The only good fighters she's really fought. Maya, she has some decent wins over Joanne Wood, Jessica I. Oh, look, at Modafferi, too. Yeah, yeah. She loses against really good fighters like Fior, Shevchenko. They're both decent grapplers with high strike volume, but that's not really exciting strike volume. That's more so usually clinch strikes. Jennifer Maya usually has some good distance striking. I do like her kicks as well too. Maya, she's got them thick legs for kicking. I don't care about this fight. Jennifer Maya is definitely gonna win this. Surprised she's only minus 130. Give me Jennifer Maya by decision. That's pretty clean and clear cut. On to the main event of the evening. This is some good fights. This is probably the second best fight on the card next to the to Simon and Rodriguez fight. We're going to be going Sodiq Yusuff versus Edson Barboza. This is going to be a featherweight matchup, and let's get into the tail of the tape. Sodiq Yusuff is going to be 30 years of age, 13 wins, 2 losses, 6 knockouts, 1 submission, 5'9" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 71-inch reach, disadvantage, a 0.18 takedown average. These boys are not going to the ground. A 52.94 significant strike accuracy, minus 165 favorite, significant wins over Don Chinese, Alex Caceres, and Andre Fili. Edson Barboza, an absolute veteran of the sport, one who absolutely deserves this recognition. He deserves, like, this is the kind of guy who you should see, like, in, like, fight nights, but they should be in, like, a stadium. They should be somewhere else, man. Barboza's, he used to be must-watch TV back in the day. Edson Barboza gonna be 37 years of age, 23 wins, 11 losses, 14 knockouts. Oh, my God. 1 submission, 5'11" in terms of height, orthodox stance, a 75-inch reach, advantage, a 0.38 takedown average, 45.40 significant strike accuracy, plus 140 underdog, significant wins over Billy Q, Shane Burgos, Dan Hooker, Beneil Dariush. Yes. If you are newer and you don't know Edson Barboza used to be the gatekeeper of the lightweight division in its prime. He was a contender, borderline top 5 at prime lightweight. I mean the scariest version of lightweight, where you had guys like Windstreak El Kukui, who Barboza fought, Shrieking Justin Gaethje, who Barboza fought, Streaking Habib Nurmagomedov, who Barboza fought. Like, he just went through the ringer. Paul felt like, you know, let's just have it up. Why don't I just have it up so I could show you? Giga Chikadze, Shane Burgos, I don't care, Dan Ige, Felder, Gaethje, Hooker, Kevin Lee. I forgot he even fought Kevin Lee. That was Kevin Lee's best win. What am I saying? Nah, best win next to Jeez, what's his name? He lost once and never came back. Gregor Gillespie. But yeah, Habib, Dariush, Melendez, Anthony Pettis, Tony Ferguson, Felder again, Michael Johnson, Bobby Green, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, Prime Cerrone. Yeah, you see, he fought the who's who. He fought the who's who of lightweight, and he went through the ringer. Lost a lot of those fights, but you could be damn well certain that he put up a good fight. He put up a great fight. Habib beat the crap out of him, but he fought him. Kevin Lee beat the crap out of him, but he fought him. Tony Ferguson, that was a great fight. Go watch that fight. That fight got bloody. I believe that fight, if you watch it in UFC Fight Pass, it puts up an advisory due to how gory it got. Gaethje just flatline KO'd him. But one of his best fights that I highly encourage you to... This is just me, like, reminiscing over the heyday of my favorite era of UFC, by the way. This is not even a breakdown of Sodiq Yusuff versus Edson Barboza. But Go watch his fight of Dan Hooker. That is one of the most brutal fights of all time. He dismantled Dan Hooker. That fight, my stocks for Dan Hooker went up after that fight. And I said Dan Hooker is the true tank of the lightweight division. That is the fight that truly took, no, it was the Dustin Poirier fight that truly took years off Dan Hooker's life. But this started it. This catalyzed it. Oh my God, the shots he took to the liver. He just collapsed with one low, it was just one weak little hook to the body, and Dan Hooker's body just gave out and he just crumbled. It was such a good fight. I watched that at work. I put that on the TV at work, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is the best fight I've ever seen. And then I never watched MMA again. Regardless, I'm getting lost in it. How does this fight play up? It's going to be a kickboxing match. It is going to be a great kickboxing match where two guys are going to go at it. Edson Barboza is the older fighter, and Sodiq Yusuff is extremely sharp, but Barboza's still been looking sharp in his old age. He's not been hard declining. I think he's been doing better since he moved down the featherweight, and he's still shredded as hell. But I just think Yusuff has more power in this weight class. I think Yusuff has more power. Barboza is the slightly better technical fighter when he's not gassing himself out with explosive spinning heel hooks. He throws hook kicks and spinning kicks way too much, and that could easily gas him out. That's always been a problem of his. It's been less of a problem since he's moved down in weight, but make no mistake, it can rear its ugly head. It really can. But I still feel Sodiq Yusuff is going to have the more power, more explosive, and Sodiq Yusuff fights like a dog. His fight against Andre Fili, he was a dog in that fight, and he would not get out of Fili's face. He sat in his face the whole time and just threw and threw and threw. So I definitely see this fight going, it's a finish. This fight's going to be a finish. I doubt. No, at 3 rounds you could see a decision. At 5 rounds it's gonna be a finish. It'll probably be a late finish, honestly, rounds 4, but I could see early. And I definitely think Sodiq Yusuff's gonna win this fight. Not definitely. I think Barboza does have a chance, just because while Yusuff has the age advantage and Barboza has the expertise advantage, I just feel that Sodiq Yusuff, the only way he can fight is he has to fight Barboza's style. Think of it like Giga Chikadze. I do think Barboza was probably a little bit more skilled than Giga, but he had to fight Giga's fight, and he just couldn't fight his fight. I feel that this could happen with Sodiq. He has to fight Barboza's fight, but I'm not going to say, I feel like the age and the wear and tear might wear its ugly head on Barboza. And he did get finished by Giga Chikadze. I want to mention that. But the Billy Q win was good. So, I don't know. This is a hard fight to say. Give me Sodiq Yusuff. I'm going to say TKO. But I'm going to say it's going to be late. Like 4th round. Maybe even 5th round, honestly. But ultimately, I think it should be a very explosive fight. I would like to see this on a main pay-per-view card, to be honest with you, but I'll take it as a main event. I at least now know that I'm going to get a good fight out of a main event. Last weekend, I was like, okay, we're going to get Dawson just murder Green. Instead, we got Green murdering Dawson. But I said the fight was going to be long. I didn't see that coming. I really didn't. So, hopefully this is just a scrap. That's all I hope for. But yes, once again, this has been your boy Gomi. Please, 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 in the comment sections below, let me know what you think. Be sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate any feedback you can give me. And bye-bye.